Hello there guys, welcome back to yet a very interesting tutorial on nodejs. As promised earlier, I'll be showing you how to connect to the mysql database. But before we go any further, a couple of changes that I made. Now if you look carefully here, you'll see I changed this username to email, so you need to make that changes. And also for the login page, I changed it to email from users. So let's go to the controller.js and see how we can actually connect to the database. So I'll just create a variable here and I'll call it mysql, and it will require a package which I'll call probably the package is mysql, and I'll create a variable down here for storing our connections, so I'll call it connections, and some couple of definitions that we need for our database, that is the host, user, password, and database. I haven't actually created this database, so let's go ahead and create it. So I'll be using web server, and yeah, so let's go ahead and see how we can actually create that. So I'll just say create database node script, and I'll actually want to say use node script. Now we have actually created that database. Let's go and see how we can actually go and connect. So I'll just come here and I'll use that variable connection that I defined, and I'll say probably mysql dot or create connection, and I'll pass in the db config, and I'll go to the my constructor, and I'll define a function probably somewhere here, and I'll probably call it init connect probably db, and I'll copy that and define it somewhere down just below the init middleware, and I'll go ahead and use that connection and say connect, and then I'll use an anonymous function, and it will accept error, and I'll go inside there and say if error, just go ahead and print something on the console log and say probably unable to connect, and I'll copy that console log and paste it in the else bit and say connected, and I'll save that. So let's go ahead and start our server. So I'll just terminate that and run it again, and it is saying it is connected. We are able to connect to our database. So the other thing that is left is we need to insert a user, but before we insert a user we need to create a table. So I'll just go ahead and say create table users, and it will have an email field which will be of type voucher, and I'll give it a size of probably 100, and I'll make it probably unique, and I also want it to be not null, and the other field will be password, and it will be of type voucher, and I'll give it a size of probably 200 will do, and it will not be null. And that's that. So let's execute that. Let us confirm whether it has successfully created that table for us, and voila, we have a table. So let's see how we can actually insert a user in that table. So I'll go to the register post function, and here I might actually want to define a variable, and it will have the email that has been submitted by the user. So I'll just say request dot od dot email, and the other field will be the password. So I'll just say password dot probably body dot password. And for the repeat password, I might actually want to create a separate variable for it to store that repeat password. So I'll just say repeat pass is equals request dot body, and it was, I think, repeat password. Now you need to be careful when you are naming this. So as you can see, this email password and repeat password are reflecting what we have in the register. That is the name, that this is the email, and this is the password and repeat password. Make sure that they are exactly the same. If they are not the same, then you'll have a lot of problems. Okay, let's go ahead and try to match whether the passwords do match. So I'll just go ahead and say if users the password equals repeat pass, then go ahead and insert that user. And to do that is actually quite easy. So I'm going to say connection dot query insert in into users question mark, and then separate that with a comma, and I'll pass in that users, and I'll also require an anonymous function which will accept error, which also results, and probably fails, and that's that. So I might actually want to check if the user has been inserted successfully. So I'll go ahead and say error. If there is an error, then just display unable to insert user. You might actually want to know why, so I'm going to concatenate the error, and that's that. If the user is inserted, then I might actually want to redirect. So I'll just say res dot redirect to the login page, and that's that. And if the passwords do not match, I'll come here and probably say passwords do not match, and that's that. So let's go ahead and fire up our server and see whether it is working properly. So I'm going to restart it, and I'll go to the register route, and I'll try to register a user, probably that, and then I'm going to put in wrong passwords and see what happens, and click submit, and it says passwords do not match. So I'll go ahead and put in the correct details, make sure that the passwords do match, and submit, and it takes us to the login page. So now let's see how we can actually implement this login page, and it takes us to the home page. And before we do that, we actually need to create that home template. So I'll go here and go to the new, go to other, then HTML file, go to next, and here change this to probably home, then just finish, and let's rename this to EJS. So as usual, just remove the HTML and just say save. So I'm going to actually do away with all of this, and I'll grab something from here and I'll paste it probably inside here, and I'll remove the form, and also remove this and probably say welcome to the home page. Save that, and probably I'll close that, go back to the controller.ejs, and we need to define that get home page function. So I'll copy that and I'll paste it in there and change this probably to home, and this one also to home. So the other thing that I need to do is I need to go to the login post function. I might actually want to reuse what I have here for the register, so let me just copy all of this and I'll reuse it in my login post function. I can actually want to expand on this screen, and here I actually do not require this, and I can actually go ahead and say something like select probably all from users where let's say email is equals question mark, and here I might actually want to say users dot email, and probably here I might actually want to change it to probably users dot probably email if the user has actually filled all the form fields. Then go ahead and select all from users, and I'm actually want to say something like if results dot length equals 1. Now let's redirect to the home page. So let me just paste this here and redirect to the home page. Save that, else we might actually want to say something like invalid user, please try again or register, and that's that. And here you might actually want to say please fill all fields, and that's that. So let's go ahead and see whether that will work. So I'll just go ahead and stop this and run it again. and go back to my login page and try to log in with the user that I registered earlier, and that was his password, and submit, and voila, it takes us to the home page. So this is what I needed to show you. Sorry for the long tutorial, but anyway, catch me in the next tutorial where I will be discussing on something different, so, or probably improve on the registration. So don't forget to like and subscribe. Yeah, and have a nice day.